What's up, y'all, boy? This your boy Marlo, aka Marlo Block, and today we gonna be doing a video on Bayside Manor, aka BridgeView Village. It's a small little community at the upper side of downtown Charleston. That's one of the last neighborhoods before you reach North Charleston. And in this neighborhood, it gets down and dirty. You see what I'm saying? All right, now I already did a video on the east side, which is in the orange, back to green and the purple. The red is the west side, what I did with low G's, but the blue is all west side. Bridgeview is in the pink. Now that green area that's in the green, I call that no man's land because nothing is really right there but old train stations and old boats and graveyards and stuff in that area. But that white area is the first neighborhood you enter once you leave downtown. That's called a hike in that white area. That's the first neighborhood in North Charleston. So let's get right to it, man. 5-year-old Ajani and his friends would be playing in the river in a wealthy village on the west coast of Africa. The village consists of a farm with special technology made of palm trees and clay that could water the whole farm. The village had many elders that dressed up in gold ornaments and had lions as domestic pets. They used elephants as slaves, camels for transportation, and crocodiles to protect their waters. The people in this village was one with nature. Off in the distance, as Johnny and his friends played in the water, they would see hundreds of ships approach the gulf of the river. Ajani was confused because he never saw boats that huge. When the ships finally touched shore, they would be in a heated standoff as the Europeans gained the trust of the West Africans. The Europeans would learn who was the dominant and strongman and take them all out. They then would proceed to load their ships up with many Africans, boys, women, young men, and girls, and Ajani was one of them. Ajani would be split up from his mother from the very beginning because they both got on different ships. 2 months later, when the ships finally arrived, he would see his mother in passing at the local slave market. His mother would be sent off to be bred by many men, and Ajani would stay somewhere close to Charleston to be a strong, dominant slave. Ajani would only be in Charleston for about 5 years when the Revolutionary War started. Ajani was a slave to Francis Marion, also known as the Swamp Fox. The Swamp Fox got his name from using the swamp in defeating the British and Britain allied colonists. Francis Marion was a very crafted general in war. He would take what he learned from the Cherokee Indians when it came to camouflage and the special ways Africans used the land and animals to their advantage. Slaves like Ajani always remembered how the elders would use crocodiles and other animals for protection or war or just to their advantage. What gave Francis Marion the upper hand in the Revolutionary War is that he would use guerrilla warfare tactics and attack and retreat into the swamp. When the British would try to follow, they would be shot and attacked by crocodiles. Being that Francis Marion knew the shape of the land, he would become one of the most strategic war generals. After the Revolutionary War, Ajani would have multiple kids by the late 1700s. Throughout the 1800s, Ajani's offspring would continue to be slaves and fight to prove to society that they were humans. By the 1900s, Ajani's offspring would have tripled in numbers, and most of the people would end up in the marshlands throughout South Carolina and Georgia. And most of these people ended up in the marshland of Charleston, South Carolina. By 1971, Bayside Manor would be built, and the Ajani great-great-grandkids would move here. By the 1990s, Bayside Manor would become one of the main locations. You would find many hot girls, cracking heroin users, broad day shootouts, young men trying to get that paper by any means, and you would see people pulling capers in the middle of the night, or when the sun is at its most highest in the sky. You see what I'm saying? All right. Now, I read in the news article that they put Bayside Manor out the way for a purpose. But these buildings right here just used to be like little woods and stuff right here. All this new. They just built all this in the last 3 years, since about 2019, 20, they start building these right here. You see what I'm saying? But I about to bring something to everybody's attention. It's in the news article. They put Bayside right here for a reason. Look, it's beautiful when you coming in. All this shit is a psychological thing in Charleston, man. Charleston has the most simplest structure. You see what I'm saying? Like, they let you know, like, you can see the segregation and all that good shit for what it is. Like, when you enter Bayside, it's like, damn, boy, this shit beautiful. Like, I got a little pond on each side of me, the grass nice and green. You see what I'm saying? When you enter it, you got like a little happy feeling, but when you see, you like, damn, boy, I ain't no projects. But it's all a psychological thing, man. A news article said Bayside Manor was put here in this specific place for a reason. You see what I'm saying? It gets wicked, man. It gets wicked. And when you think about the boys from the Bay, they tried to cut y'all boy off from society, and you still come up. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing about the young men from off the Bay. They don't let nothing stop them from getting that paper. You see what I'm saying? They get that paper regardless. And Bayside got a different mentality and sort of a different accent from the rest of Charleston. You see what I'm saying? Like, the women around there will let you know off the gate what it's going for. You see what I'm saying? The niggas around there, they don't sugarcoat anything. You see what I'm saying? You be about 10, 11, you a grown man. You see what I'm saying? 10, 12. You not see everything a grown man I see. You probably ain't did it. But let me get back to it. Now, when you leaving Bayside, the graveyard, you see what I'm saying, man? When I was young, I just always thought that was like a psychological thing to me, man. Like, that's what people see when they leaving this shit. Graveyard, you know shit real. They want you to see, like, shit, I might as well sling that on, nigga. All these graveyards around me, man, you know? That's the first thing I see when I leave this shit. Psychological thing, man. You feel me? Look, seeing graveyards coming from school and going to school and shit. Why they ain't got no other neighborhoods like that? I done live in Atlanta. I done live all type of places throughout South Carolina. That's the only neighborhood I see like this. You feel what I'm saying? So it's real, man. It's most definitely real. You see what I'm saying? I think they tried to instill like some type of death into our brains, into your brains if you live on that bay. But shit, that's how you enter it right here. And that's the thing about Charleston. You wouldn't even know Bayside exists driving down the main road. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all boy I heard of Francis Marion. Yeah, Francis Marion Hotel. Yeah, hospital. Yeah, but shit, what they teach y'all in history in school and all that the swamp folks. I know y'all boy remember hearing about the swamp folks. Everybody in America don't get to learn about the swamp folks because we from South Carolina. You see what I'm saying? About the swamp folks, they tried to say he was the he gonna get all the credit for him being the great because he was the general. You see what I'm saying? He was a slave master. You see what I'm saying? But the story I just told y'all was of African and how they brought their traditions and their culture to America through the slave trade. You see what I'm saying? And they leave out how Francis Marion and war generals back then had help from the slaves. You see what I'm saying? The slaves taught them how to use crocodiles. The slaves taught them how to use the domestic cats and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? And see, the Africans was one with nature. You see what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing. That's how the African slaves played a part in Francis Marion becoming one of the great general war leaders. You see what I'm saying? So it all came from help from the slaves. You see what I'm saying? And the slaves had knew how to fight in the marshlands. You see what I'm saying? Because they was from West Africa. A long time ago when West Africa and United States and all that was connected as Pangea, when they split up, the land stole the same. You see what I'm saying? Charleston land looked just like parts of West Africa. You feel me? But that's my take on the situation. You see what I'm saying? Make sure y'all boy follow me on Instagram, Facebook. And if you want to hear my music, that gangster shit, just type in Marlo Industries on YouTube, man. But shit, y'all boy off that bed. Stay safe, stay dangerous. You see what I'm saying? Continue to get that paper. They tried to cross y'all out, but shit, y'all staying focused. I see y'all boy getting to it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all boy got them big dreams, you know what I'm saying? So that's my take, man. I'm out.